And this is a nice question, which is the best shortcuts in FL Studio playlist. So, as you already know, I'm a big proponent of using shortcuts, of organizing your projects, of working really fast inside a DAW. And the main thing of this channel is master the software so that it's just you and music. That's the point or the phrase for this channel. And the idea behind that is that you want to go through to understand the best as you can the DAW so that you overcome the limitations that you have. So whenever you jump into FL Studio or open up FL Studio, it's just you and music. It's nothing else. Nothing else matters. It's just you are just involved in that in the process of creating music, of making something out of nothing, and that's a beautiful feeling, at least for me. And because of that, I think it's very important for you to understand the shortcuts that make you work really, really fast, or the key sequences that helps you to have better performance or pro-efficiency in FL Studio, so that it's just you master the software, so that it's just you and music. So let's jump into FL Studio. Okay, and here, let's go to the playlist. And as you can see, there's I've talked about this in the past. You can do the same thing several different ways in FL Studio, which is something really cool. But at the same time, it can give a higher level of complexity. But it's very, very powerful, and it's something that you can really, really take advantage of. So let's say that I like to do something in a specific way. You might find it's useful for you to do it in a different way. So it's a good thing to always learn these shortcuts and memorize them, or key sequences maybe, because this is very, very handy. So the first thing that I would like to talk about is how to move the playlist around. And if you right click on the mouse wheel, you see that we have the hand here. And if I move this, you see that it moves the playlist around. This is one of the most useful tools that you will have in the playlist. Is you click on the mouse wheel and you just move things around. This is for me, it's one of the best features in the playlist, because I don't have to think about the key sequence like Control or Shift or Alt to move things around. I just click on the mouse and then I move things around. That's it. You know, I think it's one of the easiest key combinations or key sequence. And of course, you can still have the same. You can still have the same sequence if you click on Shift, as you see here. Shift, it's clicked, and if I, where is it? No. Oops, I think I got it wrong. Yeah. So the sequence here is the hand. You can click on the middle mouse wheel or in the mouse wheel, and you can just move things around. If not, I think there is a key sequence for that. Let me see. I think there was, but I'm not remembering right now. Next up is Control. As you can see, you can see that my keys here. Control and then right click, and this will zoom in and zoom out. It's very, very nice if you have a project like, let me see. I don't know if this will open. Probably, I hope so. And for instance, if you might have a project loaded up, and you can see this is it's just on this part. Instead of going here and opening the project and then going here to make the project as big as possible, you can just Control and right click, and this makes a selection. So let's say that we have this like so, very small, and we have a big selection, and we go in and we zoom out and we want to see only this part, and we do whatever we want, and then we want to go back. We can click Control and right click, and it goes back to the same to the zoom out or full zoom of the playlist. So this is a very, very handy control that you can start using. It's control and right click, and this can zoom in and zoom out really, really fast. Another one is if you click on control and you move the mouse wheel, you can zoom in and zoom out, as you can see. And of course, you can right click again to go back to the full view. But let's say that I want to zoom in here in this automation. I can zoom in here. I can move the playlist around by clicking on the wheel. And then when I'm done, like I've done this and I'm done, okay, I can control and right click and then go back to the full zoom. That's very, very handy also. So this is the control. Another one is shift. Shift allows you to move things around. As you can see here, if I move shift and I move the mouse wheel, you see that this pattern here, it's moving. So this is very handy if you have sounds or loops or clips, audio clips that you want to fine tune. You can just zoom in and you can just move them around. As you can see, it's very handy. And of course you have to be careful because it can break your timings, but you can do so like that. Okay, let's see. Let's put this back in place. Okay. Next up, we have Alt. If I click on Alt E and I move the mouse wheel, as you can see, Alt, we start to have a zoom in the vertical space. So like this, it gives me the full zoom out, and then I start zooming in to focus on a certain part, and then I can go with control and zoom horizontally. Again, it's something that is very, very handy. Of course, I can also click on the control and then right click and move my mouse around to focus on a specific part, like so, and then I can zoom back out again. So I strongly recommend that you go through the combinations of control, as you can see, control, alt, and shift, to try to find some of the things that or some of the features that you have here that really can help you speed up your workflow instead of just dragging and dropping stuff, or not dragging and dropping, instead of for instance moving here to try to make a selection. You can just move your mouse and make it really, really fast. It's really, really easy, and it can really increase your performance time, or the time that you take. It can decrease the time you take to make to edit stuff in the playlist. Another big shortcut that I really like is if you click on any area of the playlist with the mouse wheel, you see that now I have the hand. So I'm clicking on the mouse wheel and I can move the playlist around. But now if I click on the right button, you see that I get a menu. This is a hidden feature that I discovered by accident in FL Studio. And this is really, really handy because instead of going here to the top, I can just right click or click on the wheel and right click, and it shows me the menu here. And instead of going to the top part here, I can just go and select, let's say that I want to mute something, and then I just mute, and then I go back to the tool. This is very, very fast. Instead of going here, mute, and then go back here to the top, you can just select whatever you want and mute whatever you want, and you are back again in the pencil. So this is very, very handy, and is some of the shortcuts that I found on FL Studio, and it really speeds up my workflow. Of course, there is some tools here that you can also look for and try to memorize the shortcuts, but you will see that, for instance, in the group here, all the shortcuts that are available, you can see them here. Shift G to group, and to one group is Alt G. It's a little bit unorthodox, these shortcuts, but again, it's worth memorizing some of the shortcuts because it can really help you speed up your workflow, and it can really make you faster when you are making music.